Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I think this is the first time I'm getting an opportunity to meet everyone here on this board, and I'm really thrilled. My name is Milan Bhatt. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of Worker Protection. I'm based downstate, but I'm always traveling around the state and, really always happy to do so. And for those of you who are not familiar with worker protection, we're the ones who enforce compliance with labor laws, wage and hour, safety and health. Those are really our major priorities here. And obviously, through the pandemic, we've had to tackle a lot more than that. Um, I wanted to first and foremost, just since it's the first time we're all convening in some time, hope that all of you and your families have continue to fare well through the pandemic. Just we know how devastating that's been, and just wanted to be mindful of that. A little bit into this meeting, we'll do a couple of more introductions, but we are fortunate this morning, as you all see, to have Commissioner Reardon with us. Commissioner Reardon has been a tireless leader throughout her tenure on behalf of workers, businesses, and all New Yorkers. And I know she's excited to be here with all of us today as well. So I was going to turn it over to the commissioner.
Thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner Bott, for that lovely introduction. And it's great to see everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to welcome you. I know it's been quite a while since your last meeting, but I am so pleased that you're meeting today. As the Deputy Commissioner mentioned, my name is Roberta Reardon, and I've been Commissioner at the department since October of 2015. Now, looking at the years of service on this board, I'm a relative newcomer to this role compared to all of you, and I'm very thankful for the work that you're doing. I know we haven't had the opportunity to meet yet in person, but at least I get to meet you virtually, and I know over the last 2.5 years, this is the way we do business, so hello to everybody. In addition to your meeting today, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for your continued service to the board. You are helping to keep New Yorkers safe, and I am so grateful to count all of you as our partners. As you know, as Milan noted, COVID-19 is leaving a lasting mark across New York State, including here at the Department of Labor. We continue to be on the front lines of the emergency. Our inspectors are out in the field to ensure that companies are following guidelines and taking the proper precautions to keep New Yorkers safe. The department's Division of Safety and Health continues to be a critical arm of our operation. They conduct thousands of inspections each year, and they issue tens of thousands of licenses and certificates to businesses and individuals performing work statewide. The department's core priority remains safety for workers, employers, and the general public. Whether we're talking about explosive firework displays that bring so much joy to families at this time of year, or amusement rides that bring screams and cheers and laughter in communities across the state, we remain vigilant in ensuring that everyone is safe while they're having fun. As our partners, I thank you again for helping us fulfill this very important mission. So again, it was just an opportunity for me to say hello to all of you. I know you have a busy agenda. I'm going to turn things over to Vince, and thank you for letting me say hello.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
So I do see that we've had a few more members join. I'm going to get started here, and we'll start with kind of the welcoming and the introductions, and obviously thank you to the commissioner. She's gone now, but thank you to her for joining in. My favorite piece of Commissioner of Labor trivia is if you've ever seen the movie Dirty Dancing, Baby mentions that she was named Frances after the first woman in the cabinet, Frances Perkins, who was a former Commissioner of Labor. So if you're ever watching a movie, there may be a character named after Commissioner Reardon soon. And with that, I'm going to say we're going to start the real meat of this meeting is going to be the introductions of everyone. I know it's been at least 10 years since we've met. So I'm going to start by introducing myself, Vince Rapaciolo. I am the program manager too in industry inspection. The name you would associate with me from 10 years ago is Lance Lord. So I've been in Lance's position now for several years. I haven't got a chance to conduct a meeting with you guys yet, but luckily we're correcting that today. So let's let the other members of DOL on the line go ahead and give their introductions, and then we'll go through the board members.
Go ahead,
Bill
Amy.
Minnick,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Buffalo, New York. Originally Skylighters of Western New York. Sold that, and now I'm Minnick Enterprises. Mainly I help out Skylighters of New York, LLC. Even though I'm retired, I still kind of, they can always use a hand here and there.
I don't know if I'm next or not. Jim Young from Rochester, New York. I've actually been doing this for 48 years now, I just realized. So I'm not ready to retire. I'm still here. Here to help.
I'll go next. Bob LaPietro. I've been involved in pyrotechnics for 43 years. Background in chemistry and pharmaceutical research. I've had my own company for 20 years. And right now, for the last 14, have worked with Grucci's. We are involved in manufacturing and also producing fireworks displays. 3 locations, Delancey, New York, where I operate. I'm the chief chemist here. We mainly manufacture fireworks plus also Department of Defense devices. And we have a facility in Radford, Virginia, where we mainly do military devices there, pack most of our fireworks displays out of there. And then our corporate offices are in Long Island, New York.
I guess I'll go next. Steve Kershoff. I special effects in the motion picture and TV industry I just retired after 50 years. Shop is in Yonkers, New York, called KFX Special Effects. And that's it, I guess. Just happy to be here again.
I'll lead off after Steve. My name's Paul F. Dean Jr. I'm a business manager of Local 1. I'm an officer. I cover the live theater arenas in the New York, Long Island area. To keep my certificates current, I go out and I shoot an occasional show, an outdoor show, and I'll sub in once in a while on a show on Broadway that has effects to keep my certificates current. It's good to see everybody. It's been a while.
Yep.
Hi, this is Kevin Fritzler, American Fireworks. For some reason, I can't get a video feed, but I'm on my cell phone anyway. So I own American Fireworks, and I've been involved in fireworks since 1976.
Back to DOL, I'm Amy Phillips. I'm the director of DOSH, Division of Safety and Health, and I'm based in Albany. I've been here about 1.5 years now.
And the name you would associate with Amy is from your era would be Maureen Cox. So Amy's in the position formerly occupied by Maureen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the other name, Milan is in the position currently formerly occupied by Pico. So if you remember Pico from the 2010 era, Milan is now in that position.
Okay.
Yeah, and just once again, it's good to see everyone. Vince is going to run us through the meeting. I just wanted to say a couple quick words. I know that I had a chance to look over some of the correspondences just so I get a feel of the topics that might come up. And of course, we're aware of the jurisdiction, the relevant code rules, and a little bit of the history here. So we're not expecting to solve all the world's problems here on this Friday morning. I think part of it is just what we've already started to do, the meet and greet. And also just we have a better flavor, and Vince and Amy will be keeping track of some of the perspectives. Again, we're recording this call as this is an open meeting. And I know there's some ethics, just some standard ethics things that we need to, let's just call it housekeeping, which is standard for all boards. But as far as some of the tougher questions about composition of the board and any wiggle room within our jurisdiction to tackle some other issues, I know there was a working group that was involved years ago. We can definitely touch on those topics, and again, Vince will walk us through. But just in terms of managing expectations, we fully realize that there are things that we'll have to take back and discuss internally, and hopefully this isn't the only call that we have this year. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Vince. Thank you.
Can I comment on that real quick while I'm thinking of it? You mentioned the working group. The working group became the Pyro Board. In the working group that solved a lot of Code Rule 39 issues was a guy by the name of Ron Spores. Reason why he left is because he thought I would be more, because I'm a company owner and he was not. And he was my representative, basically. And at this time, I don't know what the laws and rules and regulations of meeting, but we lost Felix Grucci. And I would love to have Ron on the board, back on the board, I should say, because the board, the working group became the board. Okay.
And I'm going to touch on that in a few minutes, Bill. And
Just want to mention while I was thinking of it.
Yes, I will touch on a little later on how members are added to the board and what you would like to do if you'd like to nominate someone for the board. I did want to just, Milan mentioned the ethics piece, and I would just like to take 5 or so minutes, 10 minutes to start with that, just so you guys are all aware of that, and then we can move forward. So you'll get a bit of talking from me here, and then we'll move forward and let you guys do most of the talking after that. For those of you who can see me on video, I am going to go ahead and share my screen just to walk you through some documents I'm going to be sending to you guys later today. So I'm going to be sending you later today 4 documents, which have to do with the ethics regulations, and some of them have changed since you guys probably last presented them about 10 years ago. So essentially, I'll walk you through the documents now. I'll send them to you later today. There is one that you need to sign and send back. So when we get to that, we'll explain that. The first document I'm going to send you is the pertinent sections of the Public Officers Law, and that's like a 36-page document. I'm going to send it to you. You guys could read through that during the long weekend or during the holidays on Monday. But in addition to that, I'm also going to send you this second document, which is almost as long. But this second document is the kind of the plain language explanation of what that first document is. And it covers pertinent sections of the law and explains them in more kind of an English version. So you get the piece on financial disclosure, code of ethics, and then the breakdown of the law. And like I said, I'm also going to send that to you. And definitely read through it before you go on ahead and sign the oath. And then I'm going to spend a few minutes on this document. This is kind of an even more pared down version that legal put together specifically for the board. And this one's much more manageable, kind of a 4-page document. And it covers the things that'll probably be of most interest to you guys on the board, the rules about conflict of interest, rules about recusal when it's appropriate to recuse yourself from a certain meeting or other act of the board. It covers rules on gifts and any special treatment. Basically, you're not supposed to receive any special treatment or any gifts due to your position here on the board, which I'm sure everyone understands. And piece on confidentiality. Obviously, we deal with confidential information in evaluating people for their pyrotechnic license, and so we ask that you keep that confidential. And then there's the rule on post-board policies and applications on the guidelines. And after you read through all of those, there will be this document, the oath of office, which in order for you to continue as active members of the board, we're going to ask you to sign that document and send it on back to me. You can read it. The bottom part is just basically that you received the documents I'm going to be sending you later today. And the upper part here is, your pledge that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of New York and faithfully discharge your duties. So I'm going to be sending you that later today. Certainly, if you have any questions, send them on back to me, and I'll get you in touch with our ethics officers or legal team to get you any answers you may need. We'll be looking for you to have signed that document, the oath of office, and send it on back to us prior to, whenever we wind up scheduling our next meeting. And so I've been talking quite a bit, but like I said, I'll send that to you later today. And now, and I will get to that piece that Bill mentioned. Current board, the current members of the board are all here today. It's the 6 of you. I did get a resignation from Felix. He's moving on. He has issues with caring for his family members, so he no longer wanted to be a member of the board. And I thanked him for his service, and I'm sure you guys know him much better than me. So I'm sure his position on this board will be missed. And here's where I wanted to speak. Bill brought it up. Felix also recommended somebody to kind of fill his position, and the way it will work is if there's a decision that the board needs another person, ultimately it's up to the commissioner to make that decision. But I will say, if you do have individuals you want to nominate for Phil's open position, or if you feel the board needs more members, send me your recommendation on that person. Send me a resume and contact information on that person, and I will get that information up to the commissioner's office. And like I said, ultimately they'll make the final decision on whether or not another person will be appointed to the board. And I do, because that is a point of discussion, I just wanted to then I'll open it up and see if anybody has anything they want to discuss on that.
Yeah, I gotta say it when I think it. I forgot already. But it wasn't relative to what I mentioned earlier. And you said you were going to touch on that. So if that's what your answer is there, we'll go from there. As far as who we might nominate if we feel as though we need somebody else. I appreciate now. Oh, this is what I want. I used to be able to call Pico Benamatz because he was the guy that started, one of the guys that started this from the Department of Labor. Lansing Lord, and Martha Waldron. If I had a question, I used to be able to call and get an answer, pretty immediately get an answer. Can I do that with you, Vince? Or
yes, I'll be your main point of contact. Like I said, I've taken over Lance Lord's position. Martha's position is currently vacant. We're trying to fill that one now. It's funny, when I looked at the letter you guys sent me, Pico, Marine, Joe Gallagher, Dave Rupert, Martha, they've all since happily retired. So you will have to learn a whole new set of players. I'm definitely your primary contact, and probably you should start with me when there's any questions.
Because I had a tough time, believe it or not, getting a hold of somebody that knew anything about the Pyro board. And I finally got your contact center or something, and she put me on you from there. But anyway, we're good to go.
Great.
Vince, I got a question.
Sure.
Will these documents replace what we signed 10 years ago, I'm assuming?
You're breaking up, Jim.
What's that?
You're breaking up.
No, sorry.
I did get the gist of the question, and yes, actually, I don't. We looked through the files and we didn't have copies of the documents you signed probably back in 2010. Yeah, the laws and regulations have changed some since then. So yeah, these documents will be the documents to replace what you formerly.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else on that topic, or should we move on to our next point of discussion here?
So far, I'm good. I'm sure there's something I forgot, but I'll just give you a call, like you said.
Okay, now, Bill, I know you were one of the leaders in sending this letter, so why don't you or the other guys who sent me the letter talk a little bit about what you hope to accomplish in revising this board?
Well, we never completed Code Rule 39. We never talked about 61. We never got there. And the main reason for that was you guys needed the test done. So our focus went to the test. And when it went to the test, we spent quite a bit of time on that to make it right. And I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he was very good at assisting us also. He came up with some good questions himself from the Department of Labor. He said he's a test maker or something. But anyway, when that got all finished, we were no longer invited to anything. That was kind of the end of us. We had no input on how the application for a shooter's license would be obtained. You know, we did talk about the original license. We never talked about the renewal license. I don't know if you want to get into that now. But to me, I got a driver's license that's 8 years old, or it lasts for 8 years. I can go in to the Department of Motor Vehicles 8 years from now, and the only thing I'm going to have to do is take an eye test and fill out the same form. Why do we have to prove that we know what we're doing with fireworks if you're the owner? I can understand a new person.
Yeah.
Why does an owner can verify everybody else, but he can't verify himself? Why?
We're not going to get too deeply into the regulations today because
Okay.
But those regulations are in Code Rule 61, and basically there are regulations that because it is a certificate of competence, we want to be able to confirm continued competence, which is why when somebody renews their license, they have to give us information that they're still currently practicing in their field.
You're asking for the same information that we gave you 3 years ago. You don't forget how to ride a bicycle. Okay, that's my best analogy. I can give you 100 more, but you don't forget how to ride a bicycle. I'll gladly fill out my name, my address, just to make sure that hasn't changed, everything else. But it's redundancy to put anything else other than that on there. For me to prove that I've done shows, I won't do a show for 10 years. Let's say, just for example, I didn't forget how to do that show. So why do I have to prove that? It's redundancy and very aggravating to all of us.
We will later on discuss the renewal process, but those
Okay.
pieces that are in the regulation are not something we're going to change on today's meeting. It would certainly be something for down the road if the board did, have a recommendation to make changes to Code Rule 61. Regarding Code Rule 39, dealing with explosives, there is this board, there is also the blaster board, and we certainly would consult with both boards when the time comes to make changes to that code as well. Kind of got your feel, Bill. Anyone else on the board have kind of a feel on what the role of the board is?
I just want to not just kind of agree with Bill there too. Just from my end of it, in my industry, it's kind of a lot different than the fireworks stuff. And I myself, I think I got denied my renewal twice already. And it's not like I haven't done shows, but the movie industry is a little bit different. It's like you can put down the jobs you were on and the date you did it and copies of the permits, but it's not exactly the same. And I'm finding myself and probably half the guys in my shop have been denied renewals until we redo the application 3 or 4 times. So maybe there's a way to kind of, figure that out somehow.
And that's something that kind of can be worked on in these future meetings. In
Okay.
that, when there's a line of code rule, we can't change the line of code rule easily. But if it's a question of what documentation we're looking for, and if there's
that's all I mean.
up-to-date way to look for that documentation, we could certainly pursue that as we go forward.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. That's just would help a lot.
Excuse me, but my main issue with the renewal process on that was that we didn't know it ahead of time. A lot of permits that we do and work that I may be on, just my name might not have been on the permit, might have been the company. So I had to go back and re-add my name to that. So I got denied twice also. And I guess for me, it would have been nice just to have known that there was some change in way of looking at it, I guess. Instead, that way I wouldn't have had to have done it twice, I guess.
Yes, and I did have the renewal process on the agenda, and we are looking to update that process in several ways. We have a modernization process where we're looking to move out of the fill list format on a piece of paper and send us a check in the mail, and we'll get to it. We're trying to update that, and it's very interesting that you guys who are kind of like top level, you guys are like the Avengers of pyrotechnicians. That your license applications aren't getting through. It shows that there is probably something we need to look in to make the process at least clearer to the people filling out the application. So we could
All right, we will work on that in the future.
find things quicker. We will that sounds like something we can work on in the future, and it sounds like something that definitely we should have on the agenda for future meetings. So we kind of jumped into the renewal process. So any other questions on kind of renewals? But like I said, I think we're going to discuss that further. The other main thing I wanted to
In that renewal, I want to include our dealer manufacturer's license. Will we be doing that too?
Those are separate licenses. They come from separate sections of the law. We are looking to update and modernize that as well. Yes.
That annually is a pain in the butt too. 3 years would be nice on that.
That is also like all of our license and certifications, that is in the queue for this modernization project.
Okay.
It would be great if it was a 3-year. just like the ATF and the Pyro certificate, all the 3-year document space frame would be good.
Again, that's in the code rule itself. So I believe it's in the code rule itself. So that might be a little more difficult to change. But certainly, if we could streamline the process and get it to an online process, then even though it may still be annually, at least it would be an easier time to get through it. So I will say that about the renewals. Hopefully, both the pyrotechnician certificate and the explosive licenses. I know they're not first on the list because they're unfortunately not don't affect the most number of people, but eventually we hope to get to those certificates and licenses and get them streamlined with the modernization project. Now, I did want to jump to the written exam. As you guys know, you talked about the written exam is about 10 years old now. It needs some subject matter experts to take a look at it, make sure the questions that we have are still up to date technologically and code wise. And I'm not sure exactly how to do that. If we want to do that as an entire board, if we want to do that with just like a subgroup of 2 or 3 of you to meet with me, probably in this way over a WebEx meeting and go over those questions. I'm not asking you to pin anything down to that today, but I did want to bring that up to you and do you guys have any thoughts on that, on what would be the best way to update that exam?
Yeah, over the years, there's stuff we can add. There's no doubt in my mind that to the test, there's questions we could add to that test now. Knowing what I know and what I've learned myself over the years. Because like you said, it's been a while.
Did anybody else have any thoughts specifically on the test? And
yeah, I kind of, yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of do what I'm finding in, just the business. I'm just looking at it from what we do, special effects, and it's like a ton. I mean, there's a ton of guys in the, let's say, the work in my shop, and I'm sure there's others that, I mean, they can't pass the test because and it's maybe my fault originally, not like being as involved with the questions, is that the stuff we do is so far different. It's like a lot of the fireworks stuff. They look at this thing and they study and they read the code books. They get those questions right. But some of the stuff about the actual practices of it, are different. We do things like propane cannons and bullet hits, and it's different. And it's kind of, that's a little, I know like New Jersey, they have the thing where they have one major test, and then if you're doing the special effects part, there's only a certain number of those that the effects guys have to answer, and they're based on that. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I'm just finding some of them can't, it's just a different thing. And I'm looking at it now, I wonder how I would do if I, had to take it today even. But
sounds like we got to get together and discuss what you got going on there, Vince, or Steve. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think the last time with the board, I was pretty busy because I was still working, but now I have other thoughts about, how these guys can be, it started off with the license. There was A, B, and C, I think, and I had the A. I had to change to the C because now I guess special effects is considered only proximate, and I guess it makes sense, but there's probably a way if we could discuss it that might, because there's just, I don't know how many people in the movie business have the license, but it's probably quite a few at this point, I think.
Yeah, you're right about in the test. There's an A section. I mean, there's a section of questions we ask everybody to answer, and then depending on if you're a fireworks guy or a proximate guy,
Yeah.
you answer different questions. Of course, to get the A license, we ask you to answer all the questions and have a passing grade. So I would say, kind of after everybody has executed their oaths of office, we're not giving this exam again until October. So we do have
Okay.
some time to work on it.
Yeah.
So after everybody has kind of executed their oaths, I'll touch base and see who wants to be involved in a meeting to review kind of the existing questions and the existing test.
Okay, that would be cool. Thank you. Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm just doubling back through kind of the items I had in the agenda. We talked about board membership. We talked about the role of the board. We talked about updating the code rules and kind of what we can do going forward.
Let me ask a question. You did mention, should we get together and talk about if we need a person and then let you know our nomination if we do? I mean, we could get together based without the Department of Labor, the working group, call it the working group or the Pyro Board. It was the working group that became the Pyro Board.
If you guys would like to get together, or if you'd individually like to nominate someone, I would say either way is fine with me. I will say, as far as the board goes, the minimum number for the board needs to be 3. There needs to be at least one licensee on the board, or a certificate holder on the board, which we obviously have. There needs to be, I believe, one representative of a pyro manufacturer, and I think we have a couple of those on the board. So the board at this point meets its minimum requirements. Certainly, the board size used to be 7, now it's 6. So adding a member is not unheard of. Even adding multiple members, if we found multiple people that the commissioner wanted to add to the board, because the credentials would be a great add. So I would say,
just to update you on how that became 7, it was 5. And that's, who was it? Maureen Cox, Maureen Cox, right? And Pico Benamat. And the first meeting in Syracuse, all these guys heard me say this 49 times. They left the room and said, pick 5 guys. The 7 guys came from one of the tests. We had nobody out of the city on the board at the time. So the Department of Labor thought that we should have somebody there because they do different stuff, just like Steve said. And that's how we ended up with 7. We didn't vote for 7. We voted for 5 originally. The Department of Labor added those other 2. And we agreed. They asked us, do you have any problems? And at the time, we didn't have no problems. And we still don't. But that's how we got 7 guys. I just want to let you know.
That's right.
and like I said, it's not a set number. The board does meet this minimum requirement. So if there's work we had to do, that we had to vote on, that we had to officially change the exam, we could. But certainly, like I said, if there are nominees that you would like to fill either that position, or if there's appetite to expand the board, certainly I would be your point of contact with that, and ultimately it is the commission's decision, and we'll go from there. I do agree with the fact that we should have both proximate guys and fireworks display guys on the board, because we do give both certificates, and we do want to make sure both areas of pyrotechnics are being met.
I'm fine with that. You can always learn something. You know the safety and everything else, but you can always learn something, just like you learn something every day.
That's true.
Okay, and I did want to talk briefly about in the letter you guys had suggested meeting a couple times a year. Your thoughts on that? How long does the board feel? How often does the board feel we need to meet?
At least once a year. But this first time, we're gonna be meeting once a week. I'm thinking, really, to get code, these code rules and the test. Once that's kind of, for lack of better words, streamlined or updated, whatever you want to say, then I would like to meet at least once a year. Knowing I can call you now probably would eliminate that, but because I called and couldn't get anywhere, that's what I started sending letters. But I still say you might retire, whatever. Let's set a date for once we get done with that, at least once a year.
I kind of agree with the once a year. You know, once we get through the updating of the test and we talk through the renewal process a little bit, because I agree certainly that I did lose touch with this board. Like I said, I took over for Lance. There was a gap of a couple of years between Lance and me, and that's probably why these kind of meetings of the board kind of fell away. And I definitely agree with trying to meet once a year once we work through the things we have to work through with updating the test.
Okay.
I think the time frame probably you're thinking of like October through April or March or somewhere in that range. I think if we have to meet during the summertime, I would say there would be emergency only because of our busy schedules. So it could be more than a couple of times, maybe a year, but it's probably through October through the March or April date for us.
And that works for me too, because as you know, we do in addition to inspecting you guys, we do the amusement devices, and our busiest time of the year is also in the summer. So
Yeah.
You are right. In kind of the October to April months would be the ideal time to schedule these meetings.
I got a question on ethics on the written exam. Is that something we can talk about through email, or is that something we have to discuss in person?
Regarding the written exam, what's going to happen is I'm going to send a document, non-disclosure document for everybody to sign who is going to be looking at the written exam. And you can send me questions through the email, proposed questions, but as far as reviewing the existing questions, that's only something we could do during a meeting.
Right. Makes sense.
Either in Albany where I control
I thought there was got to be
where I could share my screen.
Okay.
So I believe
what else is the board's duties as far as Vince, the way you interpret it?
the official duties of the board are to advise the commissioner regarding areas within your subject matter. So you're advising the commissioner on pyrotechnics and pyrotechnics as they relate to being explosives. You would be called upon if there was a hearing regarding a denial or revocation of a pyrotechnician's license. You are officially the people who make up the exam, and you do have a role in what qualifications qualify for someone for a pyrotechnic certificate. Like I said earlier, within the scope of what's written in the regulations. So
you mentioned one item there that is going on right now, as well as I.
we're not going to discuss that on this meeting, on this open meeting, because it does involve an individual.
Is that going to come in front of the board?
That is yet to be determined.
I thought that's what the board was there for.
It is there if we decide that. I don't want to get into the specifics, but it will become before the board. It will come before the board if a revocation or denial is decided upon. That decision will be made before a hearing of the board. but it has not been determined yet by Department of Labor if we're headed in that direction.
Okay.
So we won't discuss any of the specifics here, but do know, Bill, that it would come before a hearing of the board if it does come to that.
Vince, I got a question on communication. What happens if, like, for example, we're doing the risk assessment in the country at higher levels from where we're at right now? I know some ATF sometimes sends out reminders, maybe just do a little extra precaution around your magazines, maybe take an extra look, just to kind of remind people to be more vigilant. Sometimes, like, do we have the capabilities of doing that, or like contacting license owners? I guess anybody who holds a dealer's license or manufacturer's license, the notification. I always felt that was something that's been lacking over the years, that maybe we could do a better job on it or assist in some way. Possibly even some defective product that's in the product screen that we need to notify people. If you have such a thing, please contact, like a product recall, I guess. I mean, do we have the capabilities of acting in that way or doing anything?
I agree 100% that we should have those capabilities. We don't currently have them. It would be part of the modernization project to collect emails as part of the initial application or renewal process, and to keep those emails in a way that we can mass communicate with all the licensees or certificate holders. That is something that we do plan on being able to do. We don't quite have the capability at this point to send those kind of
if there's any way that
mass notifications. But if there is an extreme situation, we could, with some, kind of manual label, put together a list and send out a notice. Yes.
All right.
Is anybody else having trouble hearing Jim? Is anyone else having trouble hearing Jim? Then it's me. Okay, I got to do something with my end.
I am too. I'm hearing.
No, I am also. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jim, you're breaking up. It's coming louder and softer.
All right, I'll try louder and see if that works.
Get a new computer or something.
I think Jim might be logged on twice, because I'm looking at the.
I did notice that. Yes.
Oh, maybe that's why then.
We need to hear from Bob LaPietro more anyway. Instead of me.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
It sounds, Jim, like you're having some feedback. Like,
I
like,
don't know why.
like you've got another computer open in the same room.
Yeah, maybe. I'll let you talk down, Bob.
Echo chamber.
There was something, but I don't want to bring it up.
And I do agree with Jim regarding what he just mentioned. I know that we, are under the guidance of Homeland Security, and we regularly get updates and actual telephone communications regarding any possible threats, etc. Not so much as the ATF, but I think it would be a good idea if the Department of Labor could also advise on that. I think the last time I received something from the Department of Labor, it talked about selling and storing tannerite, which is, an explosive that you can basically buy in a sporting goods store in like Pennsylvania, Cabela's, etc. So that was good information. But I think that's the last time we received anything.
Yes, and that's what I was talking about. Kind of, if we need to get the information out, we will. Getting those letters out involved me physically licking over 1,000 envelopes and stuffing them. So the answer is we can get that information out when we do need to get that information out. But we're certainly looking to streamline the process.
Sure. Well, email, of course, is also always welcome.
I was just gonna say, can you, with today's technology, just email it, Vince? Or is there something saying you have to put it on paper?
No, we can email those kind of notifications, but our system needs some upgrading to be able to
be able to handle it.
Targetedly email people, or targetedly email a group of certificate owners. but it is something we're working on, and you're right. It is something, I agree with everyone. It is something that's needed.
Wow, is that right? 8 minutes to 11?
Time does fly.
Yeah, I did. I should have wrote down why I didn't. I don't know. I was tough to ask you, Vince, but I'm hoping we'll get together in the fall and start going over the code rules and things will come to mind then.
Yeah. So after the call today, like I said, I'll send you that ethics package, and once I get all of those back, we'll schedule a meeting probably in the early fall to discuss the kind of things we brought up today, and how we go about accomplishing the task you guys want the board to focus on, and the tasks that also Department of Labor would like the board to focus on. So I would say that we'll target.
I'm happy. Right now, I'm happy just having a point of contact being you.
Like I said, yeah.
Bill, I don't think I've ever seen you so happy.
Thank you.
And Vince, I was noticing when you had the application and the sign area where we sign up on the screen, there were a couple of boxes below our name with some sort of codes. Is that something you're filling in?
I'll certainly send you the information that would need to be in there, what your title is, and basically I'll have it set up so basically you're going to look at it and sign it.
Just a place for your signature. Okay. Got it.
Did Jim leave?
No, I'm here. I just was playing around. I don't want to distract here.
You sounded a little better there.
Yeah, you sounded better, Jim. So we got that problem solved at least.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So I had nothing else.
No, not until we get into it in the fall meeting and you get all the paperwork to us and stuff.
Okay, so why don't we kind of leave it there? I'll let you guys. Some of you guys have shows you're doing this weekend? Is it a busy weekend, Memorial Day, for fireworks?
Actually, yes.
Yes. Very busy.
So I'll let you guys get going here, and you'll be hearing from me with email later today with the ethics package, and then we'll start discussing getting together in the fall.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Vince.
Thanks for getting with us, Vince, and letting us know who to contact and all the information.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody have a nice weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.